So, welcome to Figures of Speech, Part 2. So for this one, we're going to be looking at the lyrics to Yorktown, The World Turned Upside Down. Great line from this is, we're finally on the field, we've had quite a run. Immigrants, we get the job done. This is arguably one of the most powerful numbers of the entire show, and it's the one that they chose to perform at the Tony Awards. So, stop. Make sure that you've read the lyrics of Yorktown before moving on with this lecture. A little bit of backstory, The World Turned Upside Down was actually a song from 1646, which lamented the quashing of Christmas celebrations by Oliver Cromwell and the Puritans. You can actually click on the link here and read the full set of lyrics along with an instrumental version as an MDI file with a modified version of the lyrics. And this was actually reported to be the song that the British troops sang as they left defeated from the Battle of Yorktown. Washington led 17,000 French and Continental groups starting on September 28, 1781, and the Battle of Yorktown ended on October 19, 1781. It was a decisive victory for the Continental forces. Washington's ground forces kept Cornwallis and the Brits from retreating by land, and Lafayette and the French fleets kept them from retreating by sea. Fun fact, Hamilton actually played a key role in the success of the Battle of Yorktown. His command took Redoubt 10, a key British defensive position, in only 10 minutes, and with only 9 casualties and 31 wounded. The reason for the efficiency is, like we'll see in the song, Hamilton had his troops empty their weapons to avoid accidental misfire and thereby giving away their location. For comparison, the French capture of Redoubt 9 with fully loaded weapons saw 15 casualties and 77 wounded and took almost 2 hours. So, I want you to enjoy this performance of Yorktown by the original cast of Hamilton at the 2016 Tony Awards. It's one of the few videos that we have access to of what an actual performance of the show would look like. Pay attention to the stage, the costumes, the characters, the choreography, and also the rest of the staging and the words being sung.
Let me tell you what I wish I'd known when I was young and dreamed of glory, with no control. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? I know that we can win. I know that greatness lies in you. But remember, from here on in, history has its eyes. History has its eyes on you. The Battle of Yorktown, 1781.
Monsieur Hamilton!
Monsieur Lafayette!
In command where you belong!
Are you saying no sweat? We're finally on the field, we've had quite a run.
Immigrants,
We get the job done.
I go back to France, I bring freedom to my people if I'm given the chance.
We'll be with you when you do.
Go lead your men!
See you on the other side.
Till we meet again! Let's go!
Shot, I am not going away, man. Shot, you just like my country, I'm never scrappy and hungry, and I'm not going away, man. Shot, I am not going away, man. Shot, till the world turns upside down. Till the world turns upside down. When you mention death, so much it feels more like a memory. This is where it gets me. On my feet, the enemy ahead of me. If this is the end of me, at least I have a friend with me. Grabbing with my hands, a command, and my men with me. Then I remember my alliance is expecting me. Not only that, my alliance is expecting. So we gotta go, gotta get the job done. Gotta start a new nation, gotta meet my son. Take the bullets at your gun, bullets at your gun. Undercover and we knew you guys were going through the night. We had one shot to live another day. We cannot let a straight gunshot give us a way. We will fight up close. Seize the moment and stay in it. It's either gotta meet the business and live a day in it. All word is Rochambeau, dig me. So for the American experiment begins. My friends all scattered to the winds. Lawrence is in South Carolina. Read the fun and bravery. We'll never be free until we end slavery. When we finally drive the British away, Lafayette is there waiting in Chesapeake Bay. How did we know that this plan would work? We are on the inside, that's right.
Till I spy on the British government, I take the measurements, information, and then I spread them to my mother's life.
running with this sense of liberty and I am loving it. See, that's what happens when you walk in swinging the street. Somebody's gotta shovel it. Hercules low again. I need no introduction when you knock me down. I get the right up After a week of fighting, a young man in a red coat stands on a parapet.
We lower our guns as he frantically waves their white handkerchief.
And just like at a Dover, we tend to our wounded, we count our dead. Black and white soldiers wonder like if this really means freedom. Not yet. We negotiate the terms of surrender. I see George Washington smile. We escort the men out of Yorktown. They stagger home single file. Tens of thousands of people flood the streets. Their screams and church bells ringing. And as the fallen foes retreat, I hear the drinking song they're singing. The world turned upside down. 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 You got freedom for free. There's nothing you see underneath my sun.
All right, so let's start with the slang and colloquialisms. First, by Hamilton and his expression, how you say no sweat. Then we have our favorite ruffian, as he calls himself. He has multiple examples like, we in the shit now, somebody's gotta shovel it. Along with the ample cursing, one of the few times the show actually uses the word fuck. It bleeps it out later, three times. Fun fact, Lawrence was actually at the Battle of Yorktown fighting next to Hamilton in the capture of Redoubt 10. Unlike how it says in the song that he's in South Carolina, he's not. He was actually at Yorktown. He died in South Carolina at the Battle of the Combahee almost a year later on August 27th, 1782. Some allusions. The obvious is the throwback to the song The World Turned Upside Down and the song that we discussed earlier. The tune of The World Turned Upside Down that they sing is another allusion to I'm Going Down by Mary J. Blige. We have One Shot to Live Another Day is a nod to Marshall Mathers, better known as Eminem, and his song Lose Yourself, and the line, you only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. Rochambeau is a nod to the French general who aided in the revolutionary forces with the backup of French ships. Foreshadowing. There are multiple nods to the French Revolution and the role, or lack thereof, that the states would play in it. Lafayette, in his role of the French Revolution, says, I go back to France, I bring freedom to my people if I'm given the chance, to which Hamilton replies, we'll be with you when you do. Hamilton was actually the strong voice of opposition to giving American aid to the French revolutionaries. There is also the fact that that Lafayette and Hamilton would never see each other again. They say, I'll see you on the other side, which he meant after the war is over, but they would never see each other again in life. Hamilton would die a couple years later, Lafayette would die much older, so it could be a consideration of a nod to the other side, I'll see you in the afterlife. Repetition. Obviously, I'm not throwing away my shot. I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. And then the world turned upside down. The first two are a nod back to my shot. The world turned upside down again, another allusion and a repetition of that old song that the British sang as they left. Fun fact, Lawrence actually served as the American commissioner at Morehouse to negotiate the surrender of Lord Cornwallis and the Brits. Little did Cornwallis know that Lawrence's father was actually in prison in England at the time, and it would have actually been great barter material for what was otherwise a really brutal term of surrender for Cornwallis. Lawrence did not go easy on him. Lexical ambiguity, remember this is also like a pun. Hamilton says, "Then I remember my Eliza's expecting me. Not only that, but my Eliza's expecting." So it's a play on the use of the word expecting, the definition to just wait for somebody to show up. And then also in terms of a pregnancy, you say a woman is expecting. Fun fact, while we're talking about pregnancy, women were not typically allowed to discuss or participate in politics. Angelica Schuyler Church was actually an exception. She wrote to Hamilton constantly about politics and suggestions that she had to help Hamilton. Funny thing is, she was also a devoted pen pal to Thomas Jefferson, whom she met abroad in Paris in 1787. While Jefferson had much respect for her, he refused to discuss anything political. He is well known for stating that the tender breasts of ladies were not formed for political convulsion. The one exception? Abigail Adams, John Adams' wife, with whom Jefferson corresponded on a regular basis, often relying on her for political news, asking her opinion on things, and seeking her guidance. Diction and word choice. We talked a little bit about Mulligan, his slang, cursing. His style is very gritty and in your face, and he's even more extreme in this sense than we've seen before or will see for the rest of the show. This is meant to show the height of the tension and the extremity of the situation. It is literally a life or death situation, both for the people fighting and also for the birth of the nation. It's also a bit faster than the rest of the song. Rhyme. This is one of my favorite ones. "We'll fight up close, seize the moment, and stay in it. Either that or meet the business end of a bayonet." So the way that they say it, stay in it, bayonet. I mean, how many people could come up with such a perfect rhyme for the word bayonet or have ever had to rhyme the word bayonet? So some discussion questions. Go back and watch the video at the beginning of this lecture again. Notice that there are distinct changes in tempo and rhythm throughout the song. And 300 plus words, talk about those changes and what you think Miranda was trying to express with them. Then respond to 2 other classmates' posts in 150 plus words each.